Hi everyone, my name's James and welcome to Get Good at Golf. In today's video we're going to talk you through how to get good at choosing the right golf clubs for your game. Now usually on this video we try and help you with golf, we try to help you with your golf skills, some tips and free lessons. But in today's video we're going to make sure that you're actually using the correct setup to make sure you're playing the best golf possible. We're going to start with driver. So I generally look at a few different drivers throughout the year because I like testing golf clubs. I'm a bit of a magpie, but I always make sure I stick to a few key principles. I make sure that I never go for a driver that's not forgiving enough. So say the Callaway Epic Triple Diamond. That was a club that I loved hitting, and if I hit it well, it was very good. But for the 9 times out of 10, I didn't hit it that well, it wasn't very good. So I try and settle for a club that generally I know is going to work for me on my off days. We all think we're going to play really well all of the time, and that often isn't the case, is it? So I've got a TaylorMade Stealth here. This is just set up in a nice neutrals format for me, and I make sure that I get fitted for this, get it in the right specs, get it in the right loft, get it in the right shaft. They're your key components really to make sure you play your best golf. So often you see people who maybe go for a draw bias driver because you may hit the ball right. But you may not need a draw bias driver, you may need a few golf lessons, you may need to watch more Get Good at Golf videos. For me, I try and feel like I have a driver that I can use on my good days, also on my bad days, and isn't too specific to a shot I'm trying to hit. That's how you can choose your driver. Go get fitted, make sure you're using the correct shaft and loft, and Chris is going to talk you through how to choose the right irons.
Hi guys, I'm Chris and welcome back to Get Good at Golf. I'm going to be talking through irons, so what irons do you want to get that are going to help you? At the moment I am using the Tacoma 301 MB, so a blade style iron. And what I have used previously, I have used your stronger lofted irons, I used the Cobra Vortex before, so it's finding something that suits your game the most. So we look for forgiveness, but to a certain extent. There's a lot of clubs on the market at the moment that are getting stronger lofts, but then it's hard to match in your set. So when you go for a fitting, think about what kind of wedges you've got, what kind of distance you are hitting at such a club as a pitching wedge, such as an 8-iron. If your 8-iron is going to start going 180 yards, you're going to have very limited things at the bottom of your bag, and that's going to make it very hard to score. It's going to make it a lot harder for you to get good at golf. So you want to think, if you're somebody who hits your pitching wedge around about 120 yards, then you can go for something that doesn't need to be too strong, because if you go strong, that brings it into 150 yards, and again, we're going to have a big gap between your gap wedge and your pitching wedge. So think about it, your blade irons are going to be someone who hits more of the center of the face. So for me, again, it is a rarity, but I've been playing well at the moment, and again, I do know the traditional lofts on these do give me the right distance. I have got much more club head speed than James on the channel, so he has different irons.
Can we just say, right, we said we were going to keep this channel fairly light-hearted as well. What are you talking about, playing your best golf ever?
That was very light-hearted. I have been striking it well. So James has stronger lofts than I do on this occasion at the moment. I did have stronger loft in the irons of the Vortex, but that didn't help me out as much as these have. So again, pick an iron, again, think about your blade length, think about how long the club is, what kind of top edge you've got, something that looks good down at the golf ball, because look is a big thing in golf. It has to look comfortable, you have to have confidence in it to be able to step up and hit a confident shot and get a nice solid strike. From there, you know the distance it's going to go, so make sure when you are thinking about a set of irons, go onto a TrackMan, go to somewhere where you can test your distances, because what you want to do is know exactly how far your clubs are carrying, especially coming into the winter. You want to know the carry distance. You're not too worried about the total for now, because you need to know where it's going to land to be able to get you closer to the hole and get you better at golf.
So you've thought about your driver, you've thought about your irons. Now for me, the most important clubs in the bag have to be the wedges, especially if you're like me or like Chris, you miss a lot of greens. These can be the clubs that make sure your handicap doesn't go up. In fact, some of the best rounds I've ever had, I've missed loads of greens, just got up and down loads of times, such as the video that we did in Spain a few weeks ago. So I have a 50 degree, I have that in F grind, primarily because that's the only grind they do it in, but also because this is the shot where I play most full shots. So you want to make sure that you have the right degree in relation to your pitching wedge and it goes the right distance for you, but also for such as a shot here, I have nothing in the way. I want to make sure that I've got a wedge that I'm comfortable in just playing a nice bumper and run with, and if I'd have gone 48-degree wedge, that's not something that I would be overly comfortable with. But with a 50, I feel like I can just play it nicely up there. I can make sure I get a little bit of spin, I can make sure I get the right distance like I have done there. Also, I want to make sure that I have the right grind on the rest of my wedges. So I've got a few shots here around this green that you will see. I have an S grind on my 56-degree, that's my sand wedge, and I have an M grind on my 60-degree, which is obviously my lob wedge. Now, I've stopped using lob wedge as much because I've got such a versatile grind in my 56-degree. I've still got more green here to work with than you might imagine, so I don't need a lob wedge. I can hit a nice 56-degree, and with this S grind, I can open it up a little bit, even in wintry conditions, and just play a shot over the bunker. Oh, it nearly lands in the hole. I still think you do need a lob wedge in the bag. Chris might disagree with me, but if you go 3 wedge setup, I think gap wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge is generally the way to go. You may not need 56-degree, you may not need 60-degree. If you go for stronger irons, you may need stronger wedges. You may need 58, you may need 54, or even a 52. I like having a 56-degree because for shots like this out of the bunker, where I've short-sided, I don't have as much green to work with, I'm going generally not as far. Right shot out of the sand, I don't have to use it out of the sand, it is a lob wedge, but for me, sand play has been a really good part of my game so far this year, and with the M grind, I can really open that face up, play a nice high bunker shot, and generally stop it fairly close to the flag. That for me is the right wedge setup for me. The big thing about wedge setups is it has to be the right wedge setup for you, just like your putter, which Chris is going to talk you through now.
Talking putters now, when you go for a putter fitting, well, that's the first question. Do you go for your putter fitted? Because the main thing is this club, we are going to be using it probably the most out of all the clubs that you have in your bag. So making sure it's the right length for you, the right design, the one that aims you the best is absolutely crucial to your holing more putts and improving your golf. So I've got a Odyssey Nano putter, so I was fitted for this. So again, lengthwise this is 35 inches, so that again depends on what kind of posture you've got, but we want to get into a posture that's consistent. We don't want to have a putter that's too short or too long that's going to make your stroke inconsistent. Second thing that we want is something that's going to help you aim straight. So if you're reading this green, I want something on there, whether it's a line, whether it's 2 lines, whether it's 3 lines, that's going to help me starting that ball on line, because the keys in putting are starting the ball on line, pace, and your green read, and this can help you with both. So it's going to help you with your aim if we get the right design on the top. James has got a very similar looking putter, so he has got the Toulon Las Vegas, but just because these are mallet putters, they are, yours is face balance I believe.
Mine is face balance, yeah,
and mine is toe hang. That is a myth. So it doesn't mean just if you're a beginner golfer that you need a face balance putter. James certainly isn't a beginner golfer, so, and he has a face balance putter. I have a little bit of toe hang, but it's all down to what suits you the best. Second thing is obviously shaft. We can get different shafts in the putters now. So this is a Stroke Lab shaft, which is designed to help you swing the putter a little bit easier and help you control your distance, but that might not suit you. It does suit me and James, but for you guys, go and get fitted and see what works best for you. If you want a bladed putter, there is plenty of options on the market, but for me, get something that is long enough, make sure we've got the correct aim on the top, and then from there it's all down to your green reading.
Absolutely, and just to add a few things too, Chris, there. So I used a blade putter for a long time, found that I wasn't getting the forgiveness that I needed when I was striking the ball off centre. For me, a putter like this just gives you a little bit more forgiveness. There's more MOI there to make sure that you do get that forgiveness for your pace, and also making sure you've got the right grip. If you have the wrong grip on your putter, a lot of people like to use the thicker grips. That takes the hands out a little bit. I don't putt very well with that, I lose the pace. So for me, having a standard grip actually works a lot better, and hopefully we can roll this in where we're saying, Chris, here, just outside right.
About 3 feet outside the right.
You can see that the pace was pretty much perfect.
Yeah, well, I'll try and beat that one. But yes, grip size, guys, is very important. A lot of people have the big grips. If anything, it might make you a little bit stronger, which then activates your hands even more so. They're turning, 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 close.
Guys, the final point that I want to make sure that you all think about as well is what golf is what golf ball do you use? So generally for me, the big point about golf balls is it in budget? Can you afford to lose some of these golf balls? Is it going to put you under more stress when you do buy these golf balls and use them? My favourite ball is the TaylorMade TP5X Pix. I love the design on it, I love the feedback I get when rolling putts. I also love that I can see that it's mine from a little bit further away. These are about £50 a dozen now, so would you want to go and spend that amount of money? Can you find something that may perform as good almost for a lot less money? Guys, thank you so much for watching. That was how to build your perfect bag and how to get good at golf. Apart from that, we'll see you when, Chris?
Same time tomorrow.